Cupped left wrist at top of backswing. Have you looked at your golf swing on video and find your lead or your left wrist is really cupped like this and you're struggling for consistency, hitting slices and pulls, just don't know how to fix it? Hi, I'm Troy from hittingitsolid.com here, and in this next video I'm going to show you how to fix your cupped left wrist at the top of the backswing and play better golf real fast. Let's get started. Okay, let's talk about the cupped left wrist at the top of backswing, and I'm going to demonstrate to you what it actually looks like. And I first should go into, is it good or bad, because you may have seen from some previous players from years gone past that actually have a bit of cupping and have ended up being magnificent golfers. And one of those, as a great example, is Freddie Couples, who cups his lead wrist at the top of his backswing, and he's had no problems playing this game at a high level. So what I'll stress with players like that is they are super talented and they practice this from a very young age, and they've been able to still get the club in a great position on the downswing and play great golf. And what I mean, so what do we mean by we're saying cupped with our lead wrist? So if I'm set up here, if I go to the top of my backswing, it's when that lead wrist, that left wrist for a right-hander, has that really curved position there. Now this would be bowed, be the opposite, curved in like that, but this is cupped, and generally for most of us it will get us into a lot of trouble. For players like Freddie, who are exceptional golfers, he's able to get across the line at the top with cupping and still get the club to come down and hit the golf ball solid. But generally for most golfers, most mid to high handicap golfers, if that's you, cupping is definitely something that you want to fix, and it can lead to a lot of over the top, a lot of slicing, a lot of inconsistency, and that's purely because when you cup at the top, you get the club over this side of your body, the natural tendency will be to come down steep and try and do a lot of little funky things with your downswing. It will lead to a lot of inconsistency due to the face moving around a lot, so definitely something you want to fix. What I would like to see you do is get more of a neutral, even if you could a little bit bowed, but a neutral flat wrist like this. Nice and flat, matching up with that lead arm, that angle you've got there. It leads to a lot of good things. It makes it easier to shallow the club in the downswing, makes it easier to square the club face, and it makes it easier to keep your golf swing on a really good plane. So if I've got a nice flat wrist here at the top, it's much easier for me to come down on a nice plane, get that club face square at impact. Whereas if I come down if I've got cupping like this, I need to do a lot of manipulation with my lower body, my arms and that, to try and get the golf club in a good position. So a flat lead or left wrist is really what you need to be aiming for. So let's look at some ways we can fix this. So first of all, I've got a tee in my hand, my pocket here. This is a great little exercise. You can practice all of these at home. These work fantastically well. Grab a tee. In your glove, there'll be a little gap there where the Velcro joins up. Pop a tee in there. I've got a fairly tall one here today to show you. Hopefully you can see that clearly. Now this gives you a really good reference point at the top of your swing to make sure that that wrist is a lot flatter. So if I make a swing, if I do any sort of cupping like this, that tee is pointing way out this way here somewhere. That's very cupped. Now if I can get this a lot flatter, you'll see that tee will point a lot more towards the sky. If I get it really bowed, it's right up towards the sky. So if I get it nice and flat like that, it'll be pointing much higher up towards the sky. What we don't want to see is that tee pointing down towards the ground. So that's a great little visual reference point to help you out. Another thing I like to do is practice making one-handed swings. Reason being, when I make a one-handed swing, it's a lot easier to get this club and my wrist a lot flatter in behind me. If I cup it, Because I've only got one arm on the club, it's very easy to lose balance and have it fall down there. When you've got two hands on the club, you can sort of control it more. But if you practice one-handed swings, it's really easy to keep a nice flat wrist and be able to swing through like that. So it's a great little drill you can practice at home just using one hand. The other thing I like to do with my right wrist, if I can get my right wrist a little more cocked at the top, or a little bit more cupping I should say, like this with my right wrist, not my lead wrist, it will flatten out this wrist. You never have both of them cupped at the same time, or else you just let go of the club. So if I can get my right wrist, this one, more cupped at the top, naturally that flattens out my left wrist. Whereas if I get it like this, left lead wrist cupped, this one's a lot straighter, we're in a bad position. Cup that right wrist, and that will help get that cupped wrist turned into a nice flat wrist, which is much more what we're looking for. Now the final thing I'm going to show you, another drill you can practice at home. Grab yourself a little spoon, put it in the glove, just have it so the scooping end is sitting out the top. Now what this is going to do, hopefully you can see this nice and clearly, just like that. This is going to give you some feedback on what your left wrist is doing. So if I've got this in the right position, if I do any sort of cupping, I can really feel the tension of that spoon hitting my forearm. I can really feel it there. It's really pushing against my forearm, or the top of my arm there. If I get it nice and flat, like that, I can hardly feel any tension at all. I can only just feel it touching the top of my arm there. So having that little spoon in the top of your glove gives really good feedback whether you're doing it right or wrong. So give those methods a try. I'd highly recommend you fix your cupped left wrist at the top of your backswing. This is one of the things I wish I was taught when I first started playing golf. It will make a huge difference to your ball striking. It's one of the quickest ways you can lower your golf scores. If you have any questions or comments about those, please let me know. I'll see you soon. There you have it. Now you know how to fix your cupped left wrist at the top of backswing. Now before you go, right above here I'll have a couple of videos that go into a bit more detail about the backswing. Make sure you check those out. They will really help you out. Below the video also I will have a link to my free 3 secret moves video. Make sure you check that out. There'll be another link to some additional golf instruction. Make sure you check that out, especially if you've suffered from a slice. If you have any questions or comments about this video or just anything else in general about the golf swing, please let me know. I would love to help you out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.